Hi, my name is Christina, and today I will show you how you can compare different rowers with each other using the RowP Rowing Performance web portal. I will just share my desktop and then we can start. Okay, today I will show you what you can do with the coach subscription in our cloud, and I have logged in as a coach called Sisu Sauna. And the view here is quite similar to a rower's view. The coach can access their own sessions here in the Sessions tab. This coach has just 2 old indoor rowing sessions. The Analysis tab is the same. There you can choose to see your own analysis or all analysis. Now, for a coach to go and analyze their rowers' data, they need to click on the shared sessions, and then if you have a lot of rowers, then you just choose the rower that you want to look at, and then you'll be able to bring up all the sessions from that rower. You can choose multiple rowers, of course. Today I will analyze a 4, and this measurement was done with 8 different sensors. We had a sensor on all of the oars and a sensor on all of the seats, and all of the data was recorded into the same account. You can also compare data within different accounts. Let me start then. We will start by comparing the oar work of these rowers. So I will start by choosing the bow seat oar to have a look at this session. This measurement also, we did it on a crew that hadn't used our system before, and because of that the session here is quite large. It's a 1 hour long recording, and we're only interested in the rowing piece, a 1.5K piece they did here in the middle. So I will zoom into that, and then I will be able to have a look at the strokes in more detail. There we go. So that's now roughly 1.5K piece the crew did. Oh, I forgot to show here the summary data of this session. This is what it looks like. Within the 1 hour recording, a very long recording, they rowed 5.4 kilometers because there were pauses. 517 strokes were detected, and the sensor was on the left oar here. That's the phone model. That's the sensor name, and I have already named this as the rower 1 session, so I know whose work this is because we use the same account for all rowers. Alright, so I have now drilled into the interesting piece here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to now choose some strokes, and I will make a note that I started at minute 23 because I want to compare rowers with each other. So I will choose just 1.5 minutes of rowing, starting at 23 minutes into the session. We had auto start on, so that means 23 minutes is the same for all of the rowers. So now I have selected a region, and I will be able to have a look at the boat acceleration, the boat speed, and the oar performance graph, and the blade flight path in that selected region. I won't go into analyzing these in any detail right now. I will just now call this rower 1 left oar from 23 minutes and 1.5 minutes. Just so I remember. I will now do the same analysis for all of the 4 rowers. By the way, here I can also see where the rowing was done. Alright, I have saved that analysis. So let me then go back to choosing the next one. That would be seat 2. Rower 2, where have I got the rower 2 here? Oh yes, this session was actually broken off by water splashes, but we have doesn't matter, we will be able to still record, take the same session here. So here we have just 4 kilometers and a 41 minute long recording, but still what I will do here is I will zoom in to the selected region here so that I can correctly choose the right starting point of the thing I want to measure, like that. So then I will choose the region from 23 minutes, and I take it up to 24 and a half. All right, and here I have the performance graph for this rower. The acceleration graph is still loading there. Of course, that looks very similar. It's the same boat. The graph, the performance graph. Interestingly, here you can see that for this rower number 2, the catch of the oar. The catch is where the blade changes direction from negative to positive. That's the catch. It happens before the boat acceleration minimum. It happens roughly at this point here. So that's something that we will be able to compare between the different rowers, whether the catch happens at the same time, i.e. before the acceleration minimum or after it. This is the blade flight path, which looks very nice. It's the average stroke length is 84 degrees. And it's a nice shape, and I will now save also this one. All right, and it's important to remember to click the save analysis so that you'll be able to access the analysis afterwards. And then we go to rower number 3 and look at her oar data here. This is a recording that has worked 58 minutes, 504 strokes, 5.16 kilometers, and then let's do the same thing again here. Normally, of course, you wouldn't have to do this because if you work with a crew who have used your system before, then you simply have them press record at the beginning of the piece rather than recording the full session, because now we're recording a lot of data that we're not really interested in. And now again, I go here and choose 90 seconds from the start of the 1.5K piece, roughly, like that. So rower number 3, the boat acceleration and the boat speed is here. Of course, that's the same, again, same boat. The performance graph for rower number 3 looks like this. Again, catch happens before boat acceleration minimum. That's good, I think. Here, most likely the sensor was slightly tilted. That's why the flight path is slightly tilted. And of course, to do this properly, you would rather not have tilts in the data. The sensor should be straight. And we have one more rower, the stroke rower, to analyze, and after that we will be able to go and compare the oar data. So the stroke measurement is here, Right, so now I will click on the Analysis tab to be able to compare the rowers with each other. Under the Analysis tab, the coach is able to see all the analysis that the coach has access to. They can swap here between their own analysis on their own data, and all analysis also contains that of their rowers. You can use the search fields to search for different analysis, and in this case the analysis I did, I happened to use the term 23 minutes in all of them, so now with 23 minutes I get all of these 4 sessions that I want to compare. If I were you, I would actually use some smarter terms in future. This was just a coincidence, but it works. So now I can choose the 4 sessions and overlay them to be able to compare them with each other. So now when we have 4 rowers in the same boat, the boat acceleration and the boat speed should be identical. Now there are slight differences that may be due to the fact that since I had a 1-hour recording, I wasn't able to exactly choose exactly the same region for all of the rowers, or the differences could be due to the fact that we used 2 different phone types in this recording. We used the Samsung A3 and the Xcover 4. And the GPS chip in Android phones, they record GPS at just 1 hertz, so once per second, and therefore the speed measurement is not as exact as the sensor data. So we can actually remove the boat speed so that it doesn't disturb us. The boat acceleration is interesting to look at. It's a very nice graph here. So you see the boat acceleration increases really sharply when the girls start driving, and they achieve a very nice positive peak acceleration. And due to the high rate, the boat acceleration also increases when they move their bodies back towards catch position, and then of course the boat decelerates quite deeply towards catch. But let's go into the more interesting data below here to the performance graph. By the way, these texts, you can get rid of these descriptions for each of the graphs just by tapping on the arrow. And now also, if you want to know who is who, you have 4 different rowers here. So to know which rower is which, we have these 3 dots there, and then you'll be able to see that the blue curve is rower 2, bow is green, stroke is red, and then turquoise is rower number 3. So if we look at the performance graph, this shows the the oar angular velocity during a full cycle. The cycle starts at boat acceleration minimum. This is where the cycle starts, and it ends at the next boat acceleration minimum. So that's how we define each cycle. And here you can see that the catch happens. Catch is or changes direction. The catch is happening at the end of the cycle, meaning that it happens slightly before the boat acceleration minimum. Now, the coach would know if that is a good thing. I think it is. But interestingly, there is also a slight difference in the timing. So the green rower here is a little bit later with her catch compared to the other 3. That may be also a plan. I don't know. Then the shape overall, it's quite similar for the girls in this crew. There are some differences. The red rower has a faster finish, and also there's something going on during the recovery, some roughness here. So maybe they could strive towards moving their hands in a more similar fashion. But clearly this is a strong crew achieving high angular velocities for their oars. And if we go further down, the blade flight path for the 4 rowers, let's get rid of that text. This shows the blade flight path. Now, you don't need to be worried about the tilt here between the different flight paths. This is due to the fact that we didn't place the sensor so precisely on the oars here, so they are at slight tilt. So what's really important here is the shape of the curve rather than whether it's tilted or not. And what's important is the total stroke angle, which is readable as the horizontal angle here, as well as the total vertical angle. So the flight path should be as narrow as possible while still making sure that the blade is fully immersed in the water. And you can see here that these rowers do have some differences. The red rower does have a more narrow flight path than the others. The green rower has a rather wider flight angle, so the blade is moving vertically between, actually it's about 14-15 degrees, the movement up and down. It's similar for the others. The red rower has a more narrow flight path of just about 6 degrees. And if we then continue straight away to have a look at the seat data, it's possible that there are analyses already selected here, so let's go have a look. Rower number 2. Here we simply change the location of the sensor in the middle of the rowing. And as you can see, there were some drills done here where the rowers took the stroke rate up in a periodic fashion, and I've chosen to look at the second of the high-paced drills. So this is one of the rowers, and I've chosen a region. Again, we get, of course, the boat acceleration and speed graph. It doesn't matter where the sensor is for that. But then we get the seat speed graph. This shows how the seat speed varies during one cycle. So you see here the seat changes a direction at the finish of the cycle. So the seat starts the driving phase before the boat acceleration minimum. That's what that means. So the positive seat speed means the driving phase, and then we have the seat at the backstop before the seat returns to the catch position. What's interesting is whether the seat speed is front-loaded or back-loaded. So this is a front-loaded, very fast push of the legs, and then the seat remains in backstop during a certain percentage of the cycle. The time here is just a percentage. We don't even show the percentages. The time is normalized for each cycle. So if you row at different rates, then these graphs are not directly comparable with each other. And then for the metrics here, you do get the average maximum seat speed in the selected region. But to save time, I already did the saving of the regions to be analyzed for the seats. So now here I'm just able to choose the 4 rowers, and I will search with the seat tag, and then I'm able to see here 4 analysis all from the same date. And I will choose them, and let's see what kind of differences there are in how the rowers are moving their seats. Again, once this is loaded, we will first see the boat acceleration and the boat speed graph, and then you'll get the seat data after that. There we have the 4 different boat acceleration data and boat speed. I will take away the boat speed again, and I see that these coincide quite nicely. The green and the turquoise look slightly different, so I assume those two were actually using the Samsung A3, which has a more non-filtered data. That's what I assume. So again, you can bring out the information on who is who by clicking on the 3 dots at the bottom. And then we scroll down to see the seat speed graphs. And here you do see some differences in the timing of the seats. The rhythm is quite nice, so the rhythm is quite similar for the girls. However, 2 of the rowers achieve maximum seat speed. Actually, 3 of them have the seat maximum speed roughly at the same point quite early on in the drive, whereas 1 of the rowers is a little bit later with their getting the seat to maximum speed. Now, we are not coaches, we merely measure data for coaches to analyze. Of course, the seat speed is affected by the length of the legs of the rowers, so that needs to be taken into account. But what's interesting here is the shape and the timing. The timing should be the same, and the girls should be able to keep the seat backstop at this the similar time and start the recovery in the similar fashion and have a similar shape at going back towards the catch. And when you look at the numerical data, you do get the average max seat velocity for each of the rowers. So it's easy to see differences there. That was all I had for you today. I hope it was useful. Thank you.